Hey y'all, we're going to go over American Indians. If you're new here, my name's Sandra. I love old books and the insignificant cucks hate me because of it. This is my set of encyclopedias from the 1890s. It's the Chambers Encyclopedia. Now, when I first started reading over my old encyclopedias, it was on the other account. I'll have that account tagged as well. Make sure to follow me there. We kind of go back and forth to keep them off of warning because it's fucking horrible for me to read old books. Anyways, American Indians was something that I had tons of people ask me to do. But in the set from the 1920s, there is not a specific section on American Indians. There's a few spots on specific people, specific tribes, specific things that happened, but not a section on American Indians. So I happened to notice it in here and I was like, we're going to go over it. Now, right off the bat, if you're already angry and in your feelings, go ahead and block me because this is not your safe space. I am literally reading over a book. So if you're going to get mad about what it says, then you're going to have to take a trip because the people who wrote this book are already long gone. And just remember, you're on my page. So you have your free time. You're choosing to watch videos and be angry. Like, just think about that. You guys need to take this time, get off of social media and work on yourselves. So, American Indians. Oh, also like, share, comment, repost, all that stuff because you know that they're not going to push these videos out. The Aborigines of America, taken together, form one of the most definitely marked off and strongly characterized of the different races of men. Their physical and mental characters are much the same of the Arctic Ocean, from the Arctic Ocean to Fuegia. The Eskimo of the far north alone differs widely in appearance and habits from the so-called Red Indian, but they both agree in having a polysynthetic language. Indeed, the real Indian tribes and the Eskimos alike possess languages which, while they may differ greatly in sound and in vocabulary, are almost identical in structure. True polysynthesis consists in the more or less complete amalgamation of the prominent elements of the different words of a sentence or clause into one long complex word. Something approaching this process is observable in the language of the Basques in Europe, but with this exception, it is quite unknown in the languages of the Eastern Hemisphere. The American languages, excepting the Aleut of the Northwest, which appears to be North Asiatic, all are marked by this strong family likeness or common feature. Yet some languages are more strongly polysynthetic than others, and one or two, like the Otomi of Mexico, appear to have a minimum of polysynthetism. That word is messing up my autistic brain. I'm sorry. The unity of the American language type is exactly matched by the essential unity and sameness of the mental, moral, and physical types of the red man. True, some tribes are warlike and others cowardly. Some live by the chase, others by agriculture or horticulture. Some are fish eaters, others huntsmen. But they are essentially one and the same people throughout, the Eskimos alone excepted. Their physical characters are a certain tallness and robustness, with an erect posture of the body, a skull narrowing from the eyebrows upward, prominence of the cheekbones, the eyes black, deep set, and having, it is thought, a slight tendency in many cases to strabismus. I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to look that up. The hair coarse, very black, and perfectly straight. The nose prominent or even aquiline. The complexion usually of a reddish, coppery, or cinnamon color, but with a considerable variations in this respect. They have seldom much beard. In physical qualities, the Indians thus make a somewhat close approximation to the Mongolian type. There is also a certain remarkable feebleness of the constitution, combined, it may be, with vigor, suppleness, and strength of body. At least the Aboriginal races do not resist well the epidemics introduced by the whites, and many tribes have been exterminated by the effects of the firewater and the vicious habits brought in by more civilized men. Really? Were they more civilized? The red man is usually proud and reserved, serious, if not gloomy, in his views of life, comparatively indifferent to wit or pleasantry, vain of personal endowments, brave and fond of war, yet extremely cautious and taking no needless risks. Fond of gambling and drinking, seemingly indifferent to pain, kind of hospitable to strangers, yet revengeful and cruel almost beyond belief to those who have given offense. The men are usually expert in war and the chase, but in active in other pursuits. In many tribes, both sexes take part in athletic games. They often excel in horsemanship, and as a rule, sight and hearing are wonderfully acute. There is a very prevalent tendency among recent writers to reject the old traditions regarding the noble red man of the forest, and the saying is common in America, quoted, "It is said from a distinguished general in the United States service that the only good Indian is a dead Indian." We ought to remember, however, that the bad Indian of today is in part the creation of the white man, whose vices have degraded him and whose greed has impoverished him. Abso-fucking-lutely. Even where, from a desire to be just, he has been liberally subsidized. Reservation life, with its consequent idleness and aimlessness, has made the Indian a disconnected pauper. The old-time Indian had courage, dignity, self-respect, and hospitality, and now one of these qualities has entirely disappeared from the Indian of the present day. The Araucanians, according to the testimony of their enemy, were generous, curious, humane towards the vanquished, courteous, hospitable, benevolent, and grateful. Seeing the evils of which gold is the cause, they early closed their minds, avowing the most profound attempt for that metal. Eloquence and fondness for oratory, formerly so conspicuous among some of the North American tribes, were equally characteristic of the Araucanian in the far south. The property system of the Indians is essentially communistic. Lands are everywhere, in theory at least, held in common. Still, there are rich and poor men among them. Some individuals will be prudent and others not. Some will build good cabins and save furs, weapons, corn, while others depend in part upon luck of the charity of their fellows. Notoriously unworthy Indians are sometimes denied the benefit of the savings of their tribe or band. For money, the Indians formerly used strings of wampum, sorry, I don't have my glasses on, made of clamshells. Furs were also current in trade. The religion of the Indians is, in the main, not unlike the shamanism of North Asia, and the juggleries, incantations, and trances of the shaman of Siberia are pretty closely matched by the doings of the North American medicine man. Most of the tribes acknowledge one supreme being, but numerous inferior deities or spirits, good and bad, are usually recognized. Most of the Indians believe in a future life, but their religion is usually without highly spiritual ideas. Circumcision, or something resembling it, once prevailed widely in South America. The sacrifice of human beings was very common in ancient Mexico, where the old religion had many repulsive features. Cannibalism, a practice which once obtained rather extensively, seems to have had usually a religious significance. Some races, like the Zunis, have an elaborate and highly mystical ritual, to the exhibitions of which none but the initiated are admissible. The ritual of the Roman Catholic Church has strong attractions for the Indian, and the less elaborate service of the Episcopalians has in several instances helped to win over the Christianity tribes, which had long rejected the teachings of missionaries of other denominations. For intellectual pursuits, the capacity of the American Indian is fair, but not high, so far as we can judge from the results thus far attained in the training schools established by the United States government. But it must be remembered that these schools have not yet passed the experimental stage. Dr. D.G. Brinton of Philadelphia has collected and published several volumes of Aboriginal literature, chiefly the production of native Indians, and printed in their own tongues. Among noted American Indians, we may enumerate Tecumseh and Pontiac, famous warriors; Logan, celebrated for his valor and eloquence; Brant and Red Jacket, noted leaders of the Iroquois; Oseka, the heroic half-breed chief of the Seminoles. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to stop it right there in the middle of a sentence. Come back for part 2.